So group 1 was supposed to find out how many half miles specifically were in 12 miles. Group 2 was supposed to find out how many quarter miles were, or quarter hours were in 5 hours. Group 3 was supposed to find out how many third cups were in 9 cups. We were all supposed to come up with a model, a division expression, a multiplication expression, and a equation showing how the two are equal. So let's look at group 3. It says, how many third cups were in 9 cups total? So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cups. Now, anytime I take thirds away from a whole, this first whole cup has how many thirds? 1, 2, 3. So I end up having 3 groups, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 groups of 3. So I can count them out and say there's 27 thirds in all, or I can say here, let's look at their division. So they wrote a division expression that says 9 cups is being divided into 1/3 size pieces. So I know that we could end up doing keep, change, flip, and we end up with 27 thirds. No, that does make sense. So I think they fell a bit flat on their expressions. What would an appropriate division sentence be for this? Yes? Yes. Okay, I could say 9/1 divided by 1/3, that's fine. Or I could also just say 9 divided by 1/3. So what you're doing is, whenever you take your dividend, 9, and you divide that into smaller size groups. So that's saying I'm looking at the first group, the first cup, and I'm dividing it into thirds. I'm looking at the second group, I'm dividing into thirds. I'm looking at the third group, I'm dividing into thirds. And I keep doing that over and over and over again. I could model it out, but that takes a long time. This allows me to do the same thing, but much faster. Whenever I modeled, I said this first cup had how many thirds in it? 3. So this had 3, 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 this had 3. I could add that up, but what's faster than adding? So what's my multiplication sentence I could have written? I could have written 9 times 3. Then I need to show that how 9 divided by 1/3 is the same thing as 9 times 3. Let's go ahead and prove it. Let's solve this out. What is 9 times 3? Isn't that how many thirds I counted? Okay. Now this expression, what's the saying I can use whenever I'm dividing with fractions? Keep, change, flip. So I keep, change, flip. This looks familiar. I already know what the answer to 9 times 3 is. It's 27. And what's equal to 27? There's only one number that's equal to 27. 27. So this expression, this division expression, is the same thing as the multiplication expression. Let's look at group 2. Group 2, they came up with 2 different models. They came up with a division sentence showing how they took the 5 hours and they divided each of the 5s into fourths. So if I model that, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. Each hour is split into how many pieces? 4. Why would it be split into 4? Fourths. So I have 4 fourths, 4 fourths, 4 fourths, 4 fourths. So my division sentence, 5 divided by 1/4. I could also write a multiplication sentence, 5 times 4. Very good. And 5 times 4 does equal 20. Keep, change, flip. Look familiar? And I know the product of 5 times 4, it's what is equal to 20? There's only one number equal to 20, and that's 20. And let's look at group 1. Okay, we can see they had some number lines here. So they did some modeling. They also did a division expression and a multiplication expression. So if they have 12 miles and they want to know how many halves are in the 12 miles, you look at the first mile. How many halves are in the first mile? In the very first mile, how many halves are there? 2, because 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 2 halves. 2 divided by 2 equals 1 mile, right? So I love that they wrote out 12 divided by 1/2. And then they also wrote a multiplication expression, 12 times 2, because remember, each mile has how many halves? So that's 12 groups of 2. I could add that out, but that takes forever. We don't like that. We want to use math to make things simple. So what is the product of 12 times 2? 24. Keep change split. Is it looking familiar? I hope so. What's the product of 12 times 2? And 24 is equal to?
24.
So each of these, we knew that we had a certain amount. We're trying to figure out how many of a certain size unit. Half miles. How many half miles? How many quarter hours? How many third cups? And so think about it. Just look at the first unit. Look at the first hour. How many quarters go in the first hour? 4 fourths. All right, that's all we have time for. No, keep it.